I've come to the town of Teignmouth on the South Devon coast. I've walked about a mile from the town centre up a steep hill, and I've now come to the old cemetery in Teignmouth. And we're going to have a look round this. There are graves up here on the left hand side of the main path. And if I pan round, there are graves on the right hand side. We'll start on the right hand side. A stone here to Ebenezer Rossiter, who died in 1888, and there is a dove in the stone, signifying peace, I assume. One here that's clearly been renovated. I think the last death is 1915, but again at the top, just reminding us that Teignmouth is a seaside town, is a sailing ship. There are a few Commonwealth graves here. This one is to Private J.H. Cornelius of the Devonshire Regiment, who died 1915. There's no further inscription. When these were done, the relatives were allowed to put something beneath the insignia, but it cost them a few pence per letter. So those that couldn't afford it, the stones are left completely blank below the basic facts. And this one is to Private A. Tibbs of the Devonshire Regiment, 1915. And again, it's blank below the insignia of his regiment. A memorial here to Harriet and Henry Mayland, and in front also of their beloved son Arthur Henry Mayland, Lance Corporal, 3rd Field Survey, Royal Engineers, died 1918 of wounds received in France. An unusual middle name here, Henry Mozart Bartlett, 1894, age 33. This one with a decided tilt on it is for the Croydon family, and would have been a very grand statue, because on top would have been this angel, I guess, who would have stood on top of this statue. This is one to Jane, the wife of Thomas French, but I was particularly interested in the insignia here, which seems to be a bunch of wheat and some poppies, possibly another flower in there. Clearly some significance to be drawn from it. On the left, at the back here, we have got a massive lump of granite carved into this cross and on a very solid base. In a country churchyard, it's not so common to see the very large, elaborate tombs, but there's a couple here. This one has got a lot of detailed carving on it, but difficult to make out the name or who it belongs. And just over here is another one, and it seems to say Francesca Pemberton. Going over at an angle here is another very solid block of granite. The stone itself looks as though it could last for centuries. It's just that the foundations are letting it down. One here with the broken column, signifying a life cut short. And down there we have Charles William Burnett, who died in 1903, aged 50 years old. On this stone here is a very intricate piece of carving showing various flowers and the ears of wheat. This stone has come off its mountings, but it's propped up, and it's Harry Cromlin Rowcroft, Captain of the Royal Engineers, third and youngest son of Lieutenant General F. Rowcroft. An elaborate one here, and this one is the family of Coysh, C-O-Y-S-H. One here, a triangular shaped column. This is to the Pulsford family. I particularly like the carved doves at the bottom there, and at the top, you can make it out, is a finger pointing heavenward. A very solid piece of stone here, and the inscription is to Margaret, wife of Joseph William Wright, late of Shanghai, and on the other side is Joseph William Wright of Shanghai. A nice one here with an angel on top with a book, to Henry Charles Key. Unusual one here, and they've carved a figure with arms outstretched in the centre there. Here's a war grave to Sergeant G.S. Tussler, Corps of Military Police, and you'll notice at the bottom it says "Gone but not forgotten," and that was the inscription that relatives could put on there, but it cost them, if I remember rightly, 3.5 pence per letter. This is F.C. Boyne, a seaman, H.M. trawler, Gregory, 1915, and again you can see the inscription at the bottom there, a little longer than the previous one. L. Cosway, able seaman, Royal Navy, 1944. This one is a leading stoker on HM Motor Launch 540. One here for HMS Ferret, and the inscription is of my beloved husband Charles. Here we've got a writer in the Royal Navy on HMS President the Fifth. He died in January 1913. But also down there it says they've added also Jessie S. Skinner, his wife, who died in January the 10th, 1913, by enemy action. So they both died in the month of January 1913. Royal Naval Patrol Service. And his wife is mentioned underneath. An interesting inscription here in memory of Janet Sarah Coke, a wonderful foster mother, and Miss Nettie's boy, Henry Arthur Welshman. Harry Welshman, the actor and singer who gave pleasure to so many, and then his beloved wife. This one's in memory of Fireman Morris Lewis Charles Mortimer, killed on active service in 1942, aged 26. One here to Florence Fanny Legg and to her husband, who was a civil engineer, William Andrew Legg, second son of William Legg of Birkenhead. able seaman, SWB Hatherley, HMS Watchman, 1920. There's a fascinating bit of stonework here. They've got the anchor and the chain with all its links wound round this cross. Amazing piece of work. One here to RPE Mullen of the Home Guard, 1940. E.C. Palmer of the Oxford and Buckingham Light Infantry. Boy Canteen Assistant, LAC Hamlin, NAFI, 1941, age 16. And on the bottom, presumably the parents have paid for, "Though smiling with the world each day, we silently remember." Mervyn Waldron Johnson, who was killed through enemy action, 1940, age 34. And next door, and still remembered by these flowers here, is Joyce Medland, who died through enemy action, July the 8th, 1940, aged 16 years. And here's something a little different. It's a modern take on a McGrave memorial. And here is a child's grave, Paul, aged 7 days. Lieutenant Commander F. Underhill, HMS Lucifer, 1942, age 59. Devonshire Regiment. Cheshire Regiment, E.H. Ford, and on the bottom it says, "Not on the battlefield did he die, but home with loved ones came to rest." An uncommon one here, a petty officer on submarine K11. J.H.G. Hayman of the Royal Engineers. W.C. Gardner of the Devonshire Regiment. Well, this cemetery is a lot bigger than one would expect. A lot of graves, and the team here are doing a great job of looking after it. It's well worth a visit. Till the next time.